This video is about being an ambitious engineer or STEM field student. When I was young, I wanted to achieve something great in the field of engineering. I wanted to improve the propulsion system for electric vehicle propulsion. I'm an electrical engineer. So my main goal was to be an inventor. I really looked up to Elon Musk for several years. My plan was to get a PhD in engineering and then move to the US and, try to work for a Tesla or something. So, I really used all my 20s and in my teen years to kind of get to this degree. Or I didn't use my teenage years to get to the engineering degree. It was more like, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was young, and then when I was about 22 years old, I figured one day out that I could be an engineer. I remember I was sitting in the couch watching TV or something. I was contemplating what I should become, what I should do with my life. And then I came up with the idea to, be an electrical engineer. It was about the time Tesla had been in the market for a few years. Before that, electric vehicles wasn't really a cool thing. So I sat in my couch or in the sofa and watched TV, and then I got this idea, and then I started to immediately pick up my phone and research. I watched YouTube videos. I read a few articles about renewable energy. And I even watched the Tesla documentary about Nikola Tesla on YouTube. So it was here the idea about, improving electrical propulsion came in. So after I started with that, I started to think about that. I actually got into the engineering school, and I remember I worked all the summer with math equations. I thought it was a really cool thing, so I can just jump to the next picture here. So that was at the time I was at this stage, the initiation stage. I had questions, ideas. I wondered, how does it work? Yeah, and then I eventually got into the engineering school and everything, and it really kind of is like this. You are forging yourself in the fire. I had discipline. That was a big thing, that it was a discipline. I tried to use every waking hour on 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 becoming an engineer. I had insane work weeks because I listened to Elon Musk and everything. But just because of that, we live in an age of we live in an age of distractions. So of course I was distracted and I did other things, but at least I tried. That was my goal, kind of. So I studied, repeated everything, and practiced all the tasks I got at school, and tried to gain as much experience points as I could. So the plan was to kind of get a PhD in engineering and everything, electrical engineering, and work towards this goal. And then it was kind of the end goal was always to make an impact, to create something worthwhile, with the engineering knowledge, and I always looked at the study as stepping stones to something greater. So when you go through the engineering phases, you go, they are curiosity, how you could, how do you fit in the engineering role? And then you start to gain competence and experience by, study and practicing as told. And it is here you work through every equation several times, you do all the tests several times, or at least I did it because I wanted it to stick. And my plan was always to kind of, use the circumstances as they were, and try to use the best out of the school system and everything. And then eventually you will get in the end study, I got to the creation phase, because when you are at the end stage of engineering, you are synthesizing with your master's degree task. All of the knowledge you have learned earlier, they are just building blocks to the master's degree. And then the final and last stage was to make an impact, to get a high valuable job, or in my case it was to do something worthwhile, different, improve the world. So that was always the goal, to be in this page here. But I would say that so that's when we are going back to this picture, that the expectations, that didn't really meet up in my case. So it's kind of you're standing at the battlefield with your axe there and watching at the ruins of your shattered fortress. So that's what I want to talk about in this video, is about what if I could have done anything different. It would be because I was very narrow in my, I had this from the start at the initiation phase here. It was always about getting the, improve the electrical propulsion system and everything. And I really never did sit down and evaluate if this is the correct choice. I was just so fixated on that, and I didn't have time to re-evaluate, because I thought it was a waste of time, and I wanted to use all my effort and energy into this exact goal that I set in the very start of the journey. So if I could go back, or if I could, when I'm thinking about it, I should have actually re-evaluated and looked if there are any other interesting fields in engineering, because I mean, only in electrical engineering there are a vast amount of different disciplines you can develop yourself in. You have the protection and control, you have short circuit analysis, simulations and like that, and also power systems and all kind of power system dynamics, power system flow, power system protection and control. I might have said that one. But the point is that I would have re-evaluated it and not been so fixated, because I think that maybe got me in a lot of troubles. Yeah, and the other thing is that it's good to work hard and everything and be disciplined, and it's a good, engineering still have good opportunities to get a decent job and everything. But at the same time, you shouldn't just focus only on the engineering. You should try to have real experiences, meet people, because you're only 20 years old one time, and that chance of achieving such a great goal as I described here in this part of the picture, it's very slim. Small to none is it. So it's good to work hard, but you should also try to have real experience, because even if you get this goal come true, the amount of energy and willpower to just go through it all, it's just not worth it, because you will never get back your 20s. And you know, if you only work and work, I watched another YouTuber who said this earlier today, that he just worked, he could only remember that he worked in 2003 and 2004. He didn't do anything else, and then he said that if you only work and is on the mindset of just hustling and grinding, then you will just wake up in a few decades and realize that you didn't do anything else than that in your life, and it's just kind of a memory hole. So I would say that I wish I had used my 20s to not be so fixated in achieving this goal, and try to do other things that 20 years old people do. You know, just be with friends and connect with people, connect with your peer students. But that doesn't mean that it's the only thing you should do. You should work hard, and it's incredibly rewarding and giving to be good at engineering. And also, one I studied with, he's an I know that he's an excellent engineer, and he's working very specialized in a very specialized job. And he said at the of course at the end of the study that he researched what the industry was interested in, and tried to aim towards those kind of things. And that's a smart thing. You shouldn't be that niche, maybe, or just follow only passion. You should also be some kind of grounded and kind of well-rounded in engineering too, because as said earlier, it isn't certain that the kind of goal you chose is actually the best or most optimal way. At least I figured that out at the end of my studies, that maybe I should have gone into more power system dynamics or control theory or something, but instead I went into kind of the hardware design of the electric propulsion system. But in my case, it's much more interesting to do analysis and watch graphs and analyze graphs and everything. But I don't, as I said, I tried to achieve these things, but I didn't end up with that job. So I just want to end things with again, that you should live your 20s and try to do the best out of them, because even if you get this goal, then you will never get back the time again from your 20s.